If you're gonna wide body or put overfenders on your car, it's a pretty simple and easy process. Step 1, buy your own vehicle. Step 2, buy overfenders. Mock up overfenders, measure and drill countless holes into the overfenders and your vehicle, causing irreversible damage. Install nut certs in said holes. Mark where you're gonna cut your OEM fenders. Cut your fenders in quarter panels while trying not to cry. Peel off cut metal, bend cut metal back, grind it, weld it, paint it, seam seal it, install overfenders, done. Minus paint, of course. We'll get to that later. So you want to wide body your car. Install overfenders, install fender flares, do something of the nature, whether you like the stance or the look, you want beefier wheels and tires, or you just want your car to stand out and be completely different. But the problem is, you've never done this before. So this is going to be a process. You can pay a shop to do it, which is going to be expensive. Bodywork is not cheap. You can have a buddy or a friend who is knowledgeable in bodywork and this kind of thing help you out and do it, or you can try it yourself. And if you've never done this before, it's a pretty daunting task. I won't lie about that. You can do yourself at home in a little 2-car garage. In my case, I went with overfenders from Fitment Industries. First step, let's fit them on to the car. You may be asking yourself, do I have any idea what I'm doing? No. Now how I chose to do it, I just took blue masking tape, lined everything up as best I could, making it almost perfect, and just stick it onto the car. You got a bunch of ways you can attach it. You can use self-tappers, which I wouldn't recommend. You can use rivets, which are kind of more permanent and a pain to remove, which I also wouldn't recommend. Or you can do what I'm doing here. I went with riv nuts. So if you're not familiar with how a riv nut works, you drill a hole, you put the riv nut in, it's essentially a nut. You use a tool, or you can even use a combination of a wrench and another nut, and you can tighten it that way. I choose to go with the tool because I think it's a little faster when you're doing this many. The nice thing about that is totally removable. You can install your overfender, you can put your screws in, your bolts in, and if you mess it up, you just unbolt the things, buy new ones, of course paint them, and then bolt them back on. I ended up going with an M5 size riv nut and obviously M5 size screw. You get the Clecos, as many as you need, and then you get the Clecos plier tool. Now, to me, it is important to get all the holes nice and centered as best I can. I want them to be nice and even. Nice, first ever Cleco installed. Happy with that. A whole lot more measuring and everything else to go. I measured a ton here. I wanted each bolt that lined up with each riv nut to be correctly spaced apart from one another and also from the edge of each overfender. No turning back now. Generally, when you get overfenders for an E36, they make the rear sit a little higher, which you can see here. I'm drawing that line, so you can tell that this overfender sits about an inch and a half higher than factory, which means if you keep your car the same level that it is, it's actually going to look like it's sitting higher, but it's actually not. Drilled a lot of holes in my car recently. The roll bar, side skirts, the overfenders. I've probably drilled like 100 holes in this thing recently, and I still have the other side to do. I took a little deburring tool to each hole just to kind of clean up the edges, and I did that with Overfenders themselves as well, just to give it a little cleaner look. And then I hit each hole on the car with just some black spray paint to prevent rust and corrosion. This is my first time using a rib nut tool. We'll see how this goes. Half of this side done. Let's do it out the front. This is a lot of work doing all these rib nuts. I've got the whole driver's side done. Now I just have to do the passenger side, at least as far as mounting it up, getting it aligned, drilling the holes, and inserting the rib nuts. And then before you know it, all the holes are drilled, painted, rib nuts installed. But I guess you guys probably want to see it with the actual fenders on, so hold on. I know they're not painted, and I only had like 3 bolts installed in each, but you get the idea. The fitment is pretty freaking excellent. I really took my time and tried to do it as best I could and get everything lined up really nice. I think it turned out well. Now on to cutting. So since I gained all this room, not a ton, but it should be enough for the wheels and tire setup that I have. Now I need to cut out the original arches and then obviously weld them back together, which you guys know I'm not proficient in welding. Got to trim more than that out. I'll probably end up taking like this whole arch out, to be honest. No turning back. I make it look easy, don't I? It's actually going how I expected. Sheesh! Be sure to put the fender on. So right there, I need some more. I see that now. And be positive that you cut enough. Now's the time to do it. Whew, it stinks in here. All right, got my hose in case something catches fire. Got the water hooked up. Let's give it a shot. As fun as that was, I'm going to do some cutting and some grinding, see where we stand. What I'm going to do is, I'm just hitting it with some wax and tar remover, going to do a coat of primer, and then I'm going to do seam sealer. Lines are drawn, I know about where to cut. Yeah, let's do it. Look at that. The nice thing is, no welding. All I have to do is smooth this out, seam seal it, good to go. Problem is you get all hot and sweaty and then all this it's just fog. It's like pure fog in here, I can't see anything. Now we're gonna let that dry, Probably flip the car around and do the other side while it dries, and then I'll add seam sealer later, but this side's pretty much done. Almost forgot, got the tires mounted on the wheels. You guys know what wheels I got. I got the Apex Arc 8 and a 17x10 offset of 25. The tires I ended up going with, I went with the Falcon RT 615K Plus. They were a good match for everything I wanted. 200 tread wear tire, obviously a max performance summer tire. I went with a 275/40 17 all around. Front to back, side to side. This car has the same wheels and tires all around, so they can be rotated. They're not directional. So it's just, it was the perfect tire, and they were a good price too. So I got them mounted and balanced, put them on the car and see how they fit. Passenger side done, time to do the driver's side. It's not gonna take that long because I kind of know what I'm doing now, but we'll time lapse you through it. See the finished product very shortly. Just like that, boys, done. My first ever wide body. The Overfenders are installed. I got everything cut out, welded, grinded, seam sealed, test fitted, rib nutted. That was a lot of work. But I'm super pumped about the end result. I'm really happy with everything, how it all came together so far. Obviously, I still have to paint the fenders, which that'll be coming pretty soon, probably the next video. And once they're painted and on there, whew, it's gonna be pretty mean looking in my opinion. And I love the 17 with more sidewall. I think it's a nice look. 18s work on an E36, but I think 17s are just that much better. As you guys can tell, the rear end still needs lowered. I did lower it as much as I can with the TRM coilovers that I have. This is a full TRM kit. The front's coilovers, the rear is still the strut and the spring. But if I put the spring on the lowest setting I can absolutely go, and it's still too high. I think it's gonna settle a little bit because I haven't driven it, but still it sits too high. I might have to end up getting new springs for the rear. We'll see how much it settles. It doesn't look horrendous, but it definitely sits up there. It looks a little 4x4-ish. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. It wasn't a how-to, but you can see me, who I really didn't have much idea what I was doing, was able to do this, and I think it turned out pretty nice. Now I'm gonna go wash it because it's disgusting and get everything ready for paint. So that'll be the next video. Thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you next time.